Excellencies, dear ladies and gentlemen, today the world meets in Gießen.
This was Dr. Matthias Leder, the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, CCI Gießen-Friedberg. His welcoming words and the affirmative applause of 150 visitors from all over the world launched the International Network Conference in Gießen.
Welcome to our third International Networking Conference at the Chamber of Commerce and Industry Gießen-Friedberg. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your commitment.
And the commitment Dr. Leder referred to could be felt in the Congress Hall, Gießen, where entrepreneurs and diplomats listened intently to the opening speech. They are representatives of 4 different continents.
Guests from Asia, Africa, Latin America, and Europe have come to us.
To everyone listening to this podcast wondering what the exact mission of the conference, The World Meets in Gießen, might be, Dr. Leder explained it in a passionate way.
The basic idea is to build bridges between continents for companies, and thus to support the companies in their international business. You see, some people are talking about tariffs. We are not talking about tariffs, we are talking about building bridges. We think that now than forever it's more important to build bridges and to overcome differences. It is important to talk from face to face because we know we can meet in online conferences, but trust will never grow in online conferences. Trust grows when you visit a country and when you don't visit it just once, but when you visit it several times. When you have a lunch, when you have a dinner with the people, when you get to know their culture, and when they have the chance to explain you their culture.
Matthias Leder himself has been on many business trips, which he recalls fondly. They make him appreciate the presence of international networkers and representatives who traveled to attend the conference in Gießen.
I have now been really a couple of times in Africa, and our chamber is now in Africa for 20 years. And I came to know things which I would never have known if I had not been there. So one of the basic things you should know is you have to have time and you have to bring time. Confidence only grows when you bring time to your partner. And I came to know that this is one of the most important ingredients of a good conversation, to bring time with yourself. And I'm so grateful for you because you are bringing time to meet here together at this conference.
The 2025 conference. The World Meets in Gießen is not the first time the event takes place. In fact, it is the 3rd consecutive year the CEO of the CCI Gießen-Friedberg and his team created this unique opportunity to meet in this important economic region. And judging by the number of attendees, this won't be the last time.
We are holding now the World Meets in Gießen for the 3rd time. And the number of participants grows every year. We started with 50. Last year, we have been around 100, and now we are on 150. So this is a good growth.
The main motivation behind this event is to create a forum where international companies can connect with German businesses, or as Mr. Leder put it,
we want to offer you a platform to get into touch with new partners, be it in sales, sourcing, or possible investments.
Therefore, it was essential for the event's success that the participants engaged among each other in order to find exciting business opportunities.
As an international platform, For us, it is very important that you get into touch with each other. For instance, last year, it already worked out very well, the South to South contacts from Africa to Latin America, or from Africa to Asia, or from Latin America to Asia. So just take the opportunity.
And Mr. Leader's expectations were definitely met by how the conference unfolded. Everyone who glanced into the Congress Hall during breaks and meals witnessed how participants from around the world exchanged names, ideas, and business cards. The event took place over the course of 2 days, from Wednesday 21st of May to Thursday 22nd. However, the real beginning of the business assembly happened prior to the World Meets in Gießen. The CCI held its annual reception on Tuesday, May 20th, with approximately 800 guests to discuss important topics such as the energy transition. In his introductory speech, Dr. Leder addressed the summit as well.
Yesterday, we have been very lucky at the annual reception, and I thank all of you who already attended yesterday our annual reception.
Opportunities of the World Meets in Gießen are clearly evident in the schedule Mr. Leder referenced.
The structure of this conference will be that we will have keynote speeches and panel discussions. We shall focus on the framework conditions for international business in today's program. Tomorrow is the day of company presentations, the pitching and matching between the companies. This time we have used artificial intelligence to make it easier to find business partner, customer or supplier. My thanks goes to all the companies that submitted their profiles for this purpose.
The keynote speeches Mr. Leder mentioned were delivered by distinguished experts, each representing a different country and offering perspectives from their respective continents.
I am glad that we have been able to win 4 outstanding keynote speakers for today's conference.
The first keynote speech of the conference was held by Dele Kelvin, introduced by Matthias Leder.
He is both president of NACCIMA and also of Organized Private Sector of Nigeria.
To those of you wondering, NACCIMA is the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture. The CCI Gießen-Friedberg has collaborated many times with NACCIMA over the past few years, which is why Mr. Leder was particularly excited to welcome Oye to the stage.
We have a very long-lasting relationship. We have several projects on which we cooperate. The last project is the Chamber Partnership Program, Kammerverbandspartnerschaft. We have met so often, so you see, we started as partners, then we became friends, and now we are brothers and sisters. Dear Kelvin, Dele, Oye, thank you so much for coming to our conference. We are looking forward to listening to your speech.
At the very beginning of his speech, Mr. Oye picks up on Mr. Leder's introduction and alludes to the strong friendship he shares with Matthias Leder and the CCI Gießen-Friedberg.
Well, first of all, I want to sincerely thank his son, Dr. Matthias, who has not only been a friend, a brother, a partner, but most importantly, a representative in Europe.
The main focus of his keynote speech was the vast opportunities for foreign companies in the Nigerian market. Nonetheless, Oye started by talking about the African continent as a whole and argues that its scale and success is often underappreciated.
The first, I want to tell you that Nigeria is in Africa, and Africa, like you know, is a continent of about 1.4 billion people. If you look at the map of Africa that I've shown to you, Africa is projected in the world map as a very small continent. It looks even smaller than the United States. But it will interest you to know that in Africa, you can see everything, what Africa truly is, much more bigger than Europe, You are the second largest continent. Even China is within you. So this gives you a perspective on how you feel about yourself.
He then argued that Nigeria is one of the leading countries on the continent when it comes to investment.
Of the startups investment you had in Africa, Nigeria is one of the 4 countries that attracted about 87.27% of that investment. So what he said tells you that Nigeria indeed is one of the 4 countries in Africa which is a direct destination for investment.
Adding to that, Oye stated that Nigeria has the most banks on the African continent, underlining a commercial strength.
If you go all over Africa, there's no other country in Africa where you have more banks outside their country than like Nigeria.
In order to emphasize the startup culture in Nigeria, Kelvin Dele Oye mentioned the business term unicorn.
There are 8 unicorns in Africa.
A unicorn means a privately owned startup valued at over $1 billion that is not listed on a share market. Named after the mystical creature that is a metaphor for uniqueness and idealism, it symbolizes the need for a startup to be innovative and marketable in order to be successful. Out of the 9 existing unicorns in Africa, Oye pointed out that more than half of them are based in Nigeria.
5 of them are from Nigeria.
Among those are Interswitch, a digital payments company, and OPay, a mobile-based financial service platform. Opportunities for foreign companies, including internationally working German businesses in the Nigerian market, are rooted, not least, in the geography of the continent.
We also have a strategic location in West Africa. If you are in Nigeria, you have the whole of West Africa almost under your wraps. Because from Nigeria to Senegal, almost everything, the industrial goods, all come from Nigeria. And I encourage you to take advantage of these opportunities and be part of our global leadership.
Another advantage Dale Kelvin Oye mentioned during his keynote speech is that starting a business in Africa is quick and easy compared to the situation in Europe.
Here it takes about almost 6-7 years to put something down in Europe because you have to go with the environmental, the community, all the issues. But I can put you down in 3 months in Africa, in anywhere in Africa. And in Nigeria, it can even be faster.
Mr. Oye argued that less administrative barriers lead to a faster success, especially in Nigeria. For this reason, according to the president of NACCIMA, many German businesses are thriving right now in Nigeria, which is why Oye wanted
to acknowledge Germany for what Germany is also doing in Nigeria. And I can see it here.
Oye Kelvin Doye has a decade-long experience of working in various chambers of commerce. In his keynote address, he used his knowledge to request every German business interested in working in Nigeria not to shy away from possible risks or get overwhelmed, be discouraged by perceived challenges.
So we ask you to come out. Don't be risk averse. Don't allow the first single problem scare you away from Africa.
The relationship between African countries and China was another important topic of his keynote address, because China has become a preferred business partner not only in Nigeria, but across the African continent.
You see, in 2003, there were only 18 African countries that were dealing with China, their major partners. In 2023, out of 54 countries, 52 now have China as their preferred partners.
Mr. Oye sees a possible reason in the way China interacts with African countries without criticizing them for their culture or behavior.
They came the first time, they never asked us for anything. They sat with us, ate amala with us, our local food. We even think they would choke with the pepper. Even though it was very hot, they were blowing their mouth with water, but they still ate the food. That in itself made all the changes.
That is why he continues by recommending the same to German businesses.
In every business you do in any environment, you should not be too judgmental. Even if you want to make changes, let it come from the relationship.
India is not only one of the most populous countries of the world, but it is also making great strides towards becoming one of the leading economic powers.
Says the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Gießen-Friedberg, Dr. Matthias Lieder. And not only is the Indian economy flourishing, but also the relations between India and Germany are becoming more fruitful day by day.
German-Indian economic relations have become increasingly intensive. Worldwide, China is an innovation driver. Since 2016, China remained for 8 years Germany's most important trading partner worldwide, only to become second by last year.
This data highlights the significance of the Asian continent to the German economy.
We are very grateful for the friendly cooperation with the Consulate General of the People's Republic of China in Frankfurt. Our friend Wang Yang could not attend today because he has received Chinese guests, but we always feel very heartfelt by him and all his colleagues.
Instead, the Deputy Consul General Wu Pengfei represented him during the event and took part in a panel discussion.
And I'm more than happy that the Consul General of the Republic of India will be one of our keynote speakers today.
This Consul General based in Frankfurt representing India is B.S. Mubarak. With more than 20 years of diplomatic experience and work assignments in Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Guatemala, Palestine, El Salvador, and Honduras, he is exceptionally qualified to deliver the second keynote of the day focused on opportunities in the Indian economy. He began by looking at the economic relationship between India and Germany, sharing with the audience that there are over 2,000 German companies in India.
It's a country where German businesses have been flourishing.
With various examples, Mubarak indicates that this success is not limited to singular industries.
Chemicals, pharmaceuticals, automotive.
The Consul General further indicates the importance of German products and companies in various sectors.
If you see key sectors, mining sector, all these you will find, the German products, and like optical instruments, science R&D centers, so many robotics, so many centers you will find that either intermediaries or final products. Now you will find German products.
In fact, Mubarak argued that the cooperation between both is working as well as it does because the competence of certain fields in Germany is supported by the Indian workforce.
You find all these combinations wherever you have strength of Germany, you will also find skills for that in India.
Mubarak gives various reasons why India can support German businesses with their skilled manpower. A main one is the sheer amount of workers. India has by now 1.4 billion inhabitants and also a very young population compared to Germany, which results in many unique opportunities.
In Germany, you can't scale up things. You find something, but you want to test it with, say, 100,000 people. It's not easy in Germany. But with the kind of population that we have and the kind of adoption rates in technology that we have, it is very easy to use AI, it is very easy to use technology to scale up things.
Another aspect B.S. Mubarak mentioned during his speech is the digitalization of the Indian economy with low data costs compared to other rising economies. Besides, the population is not only young and modern, but also in large parts English-speaking.
One of our major successes is in the field of information and technology. That is primarily because we were catering to US companies and also UK, Australia and Canada. So English has always been the language that connected India.
India is not only the biggest democracy in the world, its political system is structured in a federal way which is why German businesses who are interested in investing in India can focus on a specific region that fits their needs.
Each state has a lot of freedom when it comes to investments. And likewise, if you see Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Andhra, now Odisha, Telangana, all these states are specialized in certain things. Now, Telangana is specialized in biotechnology. Lot of biotechnology companies from Germany are going there.
In order to become one of the global economic leaders, India has spent a lot on its infrastructure, therefore improving procurement and shipping for foreign businesses. The scale of this development is emphasized by Mr. Mubarak.
Only in the last 10 years, we have more than doubled our airports. Every day, we are building 30 kilometers of new highway. So, only last year, we have added 5,300 kilometers of rail line. And in the last 10 years, we have electrified 55,000 kilometers. The total network of German railway system is 35,000 kilometers. So if you see all this, we are expanding.
As Consul General B.S. Mubarak considers it to be his main goal to give an overview. And an overview was exactly what he delivered in his keynote speech. An overview about the potential for foreign businesses to operate successfully in India. Mr. Mubarak's speech did not only point to the vast opportunities in the Indian market, but implied as well how important free trade is, because only with free trade is it possible to seize this opportunity to invest in the Indian, Nigerian, or another market around the world. This topic of free trade was the main focus of the third keynote address, and the selection of the speaker had to reflect the importance of the topic.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear participants of the World Meets in Gießen, to me it's an honor to be invited.
Many listeners probably know this voice. In the 1990s and early 2000s, it was nearly impossible to watch the German news without hearing his voice or witnessing the effect of his politics in some way. The third keynote speaker is Rudolf Scharping, the former German Minister of Defense and former Minister-President of the German state Rhineland-Palatinate. After his successful political career, Scharping founded the RSBK AG company based in Frankfurt. His experience qualifies him to speak on the significance and current state of free trade and international cooperation. Mr. Scharping shared right at the beginning his own perspective of the world meets in Gießen and its value.
The main topic of this conference is world trade and worldwide development. Both is indispensably interconnected, and everybody can see that there is also some, let's say, challenges.
When it comes to the present state of affairs, the former German politician begins with a favorable assessment indicated by multiple aspects.
I would say we can have a look on the trade volume. And the trade volume in those 30 years increased by about 5 times.
According to him, international cooperation has exceeded over the last years in achieving.
We produce more efficiently and more sustainable. We create value and benefit for all. And we establish and develop something which is stability, wealth, better opportunities, in the end, a better world.
This progress is summed up perfectly by Rudolf Scharping with regards to numbers of absolute poverty.
Given the smaller number of human beings living on our small globe, we had 2 billion people in absolute poverty. 2 billion people in absolute poverty. And after those 30 years, against the background of an increased global trade, an increased global GDP, an increased number of better opportunities, this number shrinked from 2 billion down to something like 700 million. That's too much, for sure, but the development is remarkably good.
However, it was important for Mr. Scharping to stress that
there are some regions on our globe which needs more support, needs more attention by the worldwide organizations and institutions and political and economic leaders. That is mainly Africa and Southeast Asia.
another issue the founder and CEO of RBSK observes is the role of women in the quest to achieve equality around the globe.
Because chances of girls and women are not as equal as they should be, and in the interest of economic, political, and other developments must be.
A possibility to confront these problems is identified by Mr. Scharping in
education, which is not only providing skills, it's also providing better opportunities for participation.
The expert stated that the pandemic marked a major setback for international cooperation and free trade.
Supply chains were interrupted, confidence was minimized, cooperation was reduced.
Another issue the internationally operating consultant cannot overlook is the impact of wars on the global economy.
War destroys lives, destroys opportunities, and is a threat for everything, from the individual human being to the stability and the welfare and the future of a nation and society.
Lastly, Rudolf Scharping referred to the
hardly to predict political development within the United States that has an impact on every other nation on the globe. It's not only because of tariffs. It's also because of the unpredictability, the unaccountability.
The unpredictability he addressed especially worrying for Germany because, as Mr. Scharping argued,
in Germany, I must say that it is most important to have a stable European environment and, at the same time, to have stable and expandable relationships to other nations and other continental or regional agreements on trade and on free exchange of goods and services.
That is why the expert demanded what is needed in order for businesses and countries around the world to flourish.
Stable regulation, reliable partners, good conditions, and mastering all the challenges.
He concluded his keynote with a hopeful transition to the event taking place in the Congress Hall Gießen, encouraging the participants to further network and connect.
You, with your meeting, with this very important conference in Gießen, will exchange your views, will identify more opportunities, and hopefully will create the will and the decisiveness to do the best for a world of better opportunities in the future, for the kids, for the societies, for everybody, for the nations, societies as said, and for something which is the precondition for all, global peace and global development.
These keynotes captured the key elements of this noteworthy conference in Gießen. Hopefully, this summary allowed you to look back on your experiences or encourage you to take part in the next year, since Matthias Lieder promised in his concluding remarks.
We take as a real encouragement to continue to offer this platform in the future. So next year, there will be a fourth international B2B meeting that profits in Gießen.
The keynotes we've been hearing demonstrated the importance of international cooperation and the contribution the world meets in Gießen makes. You can clearly witness the first aspect in your everyday life as well as in political developments, but our contribution can be best appreciated right here in Gießen. So we are looking forward to seeing you all in 2026.